योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। यं गुरुं हि स्वयं सत्यः प्रज्ञाभक्तिविनीतयः दीप्तिश्चापि व्रताः सत्यं तं गुरुं प्रणमाम्यहम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। So we'll start chanting from verse 10 over, 11 over. So from verse 7. स्वीकुर्वन् व्याघ्रवेषं स्वजठरभृतये भीषयन् यश्च मुग्धान् मत्वा व्याघ्रोऽहमित्थं स नरपशुमुखान् बाधते किन्नु सत्त्वान्। मत्वा स्त्रीवेषधारी स्त्र्यहमिति कुरुते किन्नटो भर्तुरिच्छां तद्वच्छारीर आत्मा पृथगनुभवतो देहतो यस्य साक्षी। स्वं बालं रोदमानं चिरतरसमयं शान्तिमानेतुमग्रे द्राक्षं खार्जूरमाम्रम् सुकदलमथवा योजयत्यम्बिकास्य। तद्वच्चेतोऽतिमूढं बहुजननभवात् मौढ्यसंस्कारयोगात् बोधोपायैरनेकैः अवशमुपनिषत् बोधयामास सम्यक्। यत्प्रीत्या प्रीतिपात्रं तनुयुवति तनूजार्थमुख्यं सतस्मात् प्रेयानात्माथ शोकास्पदमितरदतः प्रेय एतत् कथं स्यात्। भार्याद्यं जीवितार्थी वितरति च बभुः स्वात्मनः श्रेय इच्छन् तस्मादात्मानमेव प्रियमधिकमुपासीत विद्वान् न चान्यत्। यस्माद्यावत् सुखं स्यात् इह हि विषयतः तावदस्मिन् प्रियत्वम् यावद्दुःखं च यस्मात् भवति खलु तथा तावदेवाप्रियत्वम्। नैकस्मिन् सर्वकालेऽप्युभयमपि कदाप्यप्रियोऽपि प्रियः स्यात्। प्रेयानप्यप्रियो वा सततमपि ततः प्रेय आत्माख्यवस्तु। श्रेयः प्रेयश्च लोके द्विविधमभिहितं काम्यमात्यन्तिकं च काम्यं दुःखैकबीजं क्षणलविरसं तच्चिकीर्षन्ति मन्दाः। ब्रह्मैवात्यन्तिकं तत् निरतिशयसुखस्यास्पदं संश्रयन्ते तत्त्वज्ञास्तच्च काठोपनिषदभिहितं षड्विधायाञ्च वल्याम्। So towards the end of the last class, there were a couple of questions pertaining to the grammar, and there were a few other questions also which were posted in the email. This was primarily generated out of the serious interest that some of the viewers had in trying to understand the phrases Shreyaha and Preyaha, which I was trying to explain in greater detail from the viewpoint of grammar. So let me quickly add a few points towards that, which may be appreciated by a few people, so that they have a much better clarity regarding these terms. See, this Preyan, Shreyan, so all that usages we have seen in the Upanishads. Now, in the colloquial language, we have Shresthaha, Jyeshthaha, Kanishtaha, Garishtaha, etc. So these are all usages which you might have seen frequently. In fact, if you look at the sutras, Guruhu Gariyan Garishtaha, Laghuhu Laghiyan Laghishtaha. In fact, even after the word Krishna, Shukla, etc., we can use this. Shuklaha, Shukliyan, Shuklishtaha, Krishnaha, Krishniyan, Krishnishtaha, etc. See, these are all suffixes which have this ach. So, I was telling you, this Ishtan and Iyasun. Ishtan and Iyasun. So, these are usually added to a guna, dharma. Okay. So, in fact, that is what the sutra basically tells. But this Shreyana is something which is not added after dharma but after dharmi. You understand? So it refers to the Purusha. So this the sutra actually tells that is why we use after Guru, Gariyan, Garishtaha, Laghu, Laghiyan, Laghishtaha. These are all basically referring to the properties, gunas. So this Ajadi Gunavachane is the sutra. Okay, Gunavachane we generally use, but here we have special usages, not Guna but Guni. Okay, Prashasyaha. I'll give you one more example. We have this usage, Papaha, Papiyan, Papishtaha. You have heard? So, Papishtan. So, some of the Shastra Panditas, so if they have to abuse, in a mild way, so they will just say Papishtan. Okay, so those who commit a lot of papas. So Papishta is a way of expressing. Okay, so that they do engage in activities which are not sanctioned by Shastra. So this is how they describe. So they are special things. That is what I wanted to tell you. So they are special cases where not after guna this pratyaya comes. It comes after guni. Okay, prashasyaha, papaha. Papaha basically refers to the individual who commits sins. Okay, he is papaha. Punyo vai punyena karmana bhavati papah papena. This is Brihadaranyaka Shruti. Okay, punyaha, papaha refers to the individuals who engage in good deeds and bad deeds. Okay, punyaha, papaha. So from papaha you have papiyan, papishtaha. Similarly, prashasyaha. In fact, there is another thing. You might have heard of jyeshthaha. Jyeshthaha normally we use to refer to some elder brother. But jyeshthaha is actually in the sutra itself, after this prashasyas shraha, we have the sutra Jyacha is Panini Sutra. Jyacha means in the place of prashasya, Jya comes. Like Shra comes in the place of prashasya. Prashasya will be replaced by Jya. It is from that you have Jyayan Jyeshthaha. Okay. So this Prakarshatvam is what is basically conveyed. By the superlative degree or comparative degree, we want to convey that he is far more eminent, okay, far more skillful, etc. So to convey that, we use these suffixes, and in that context, so we have jya also used, you understand, in the place of prashasya. So how do we understand this prashasya to be replaced by jya when we use jeshtha? So this prakarsha can be either in terms of time or in terms of guna. You understand? We normally use it in terms of time. So he is much more senior to me, therefore you call jeshtha. Okay? So the seniority, superiority can be in terms of time or in terms of the attributes. So both ways we use the word jeshtha. So this is a clarity that I thought I will bring in. So they are just 4-5 sutras which are closely connected. So jyayan jeshtha is used in both senses, both in terms of time as well as in terms of qualities. Okay, so jeshtha is same as shrestha. Okay, so that is what you have to understand. So you can use jeshtha in the same sense as shrestha. So this is the idea that you have to get. But again, one more thing. So because Anuradha was asking towards the end of the class, so I thought I will just give you one more statement from Patanjali's Bhashya, since that was related to this grammar question. See, we have papaha, papiyan, papishtaha, but you don't have a similar thing for punyaha. Though you have punyaha, you don't say punyiyan, punyishta. So that is not there. So I wanted to tell you, in that context, Anuradha, you are asking this question, so whether the sutra has been specially introduced by Panini and so on. So what we need to understand is, so all that Panini has done is to try to capture the words which are available in the society and try to present you a nice framework in which you can understand the construction of those from the basis. So he basically gives you all the elements, and he also gives you the formulae by which you will be able to appropriately combine these elements as it has been used in the world. So that is what we need to understand. So there is an interesting statement with Patanjali comes up within his Bhashya. I was not able to recollect, so later I just noted it down. Okay. So in fact, this is a very interesting statement. He says, Tadyatha ghatena karyam karishyan kumbhakarakulam gatva aha kurughatam karyamanena karishyamiti natavat shabdan prayukshamanaha vayyakaranakulam gatva kuru shabdan prayokshye iti. A beautiful simile, okay, by which Patanjali has been able to convey. All that he says is, as you go to the shop of a goldsmith or a potter and then tell him that I want this kind of a pot, this measure and so on and so forth, and you can get your pot ordered like you order things in Amazon. So too, you cannot go to a grammarian or a linguistic and then say, I want to make use of this word, you please construct this word for me. You understand? So all that linguists and grammarians do is try to beautifully present how this word which has been used in the society can be explained through a set of rules. Okay, this is all it is done. So this is a beautiful analogy which he gives. I will read this once more. See, Tadyatha ghatena karyam karishyan. Ghatena karyam karishyan, you have only small ghatas and you want a big ghata. So you can go and tell him, I need a ghata which holds some 50 liters of water. I need a ghata 500 liters of water. You can tell him. See, kumbhakara kulam gatva aha kurughatam karyam anena karishyami. Tadvat nata, see, natavat shabdan prayukshamanaha. See, beautiful usage. So this fellow wants to use some new usage of a word. So he can't ask a grammarian to construct a word for him. Okay? Prayukshamanaha vayyakaranakulam gatva aha kuru shabdan prayokshye iti. So this is what we need to understand with reference to grammar. So grammar does not help you in constructing new words. Grammar only helps you to understand the vyutpatti, how it has got generated. So this is something which is phenomenal effort which has gone in by various grammarians even before Panini, but Panini excelled all of them, and therefore that has come to stay with us. Okay, so with this, let me move on to the next verse which we are supposed to look into now. Verse 12. Atmam bodhestarangosmi tarangosmi Atmam
bodhestarangosmi
ahamiti gamane bhavayan asanasthaha bhavayan asanasthaha samvit sutranuviddhaha manirahamiti vasmindriyartha pratitau manirahamiti vasmindriyartha pratitau manirahamiti vasmindriyartha pratitau drishtosmyatmavalokat lokat दृष्टोऽस्म्यात्मावलोकात् इति शयनविधौ मग्न आनन्दसिन्धौ अन्तर्निष्ठो मुमुक्षुः सखलु तनुभृताम् योनयत्येवमायुः यः एवम् आयुः नयति सः अन्तर्निष्ठः मुमुक्षुः. So this is how you have to first understand the Anvaya. The one who leads life like this, he is to be considered as mukshu. Evam ayuhu nayati, the one who leads the life. Let me give you an instance which has been quoted in one of the journals long back. I remember reading this episode either in the textbook or in one of the articles. Apparently in this Sringeri Pitha, one of the earlier acharyas, in order to convey a very important message to his shishya, okay, so he asked some interesting puzzling questions to him. So the episode was like this. The senior acharya is in the other banks and the junior acharya goes to the temple, so offers his venerations and comes back to the guru. So and as soon as he arrives, that day the guru wanted to teach him something, and therefore he asked this question. So what are the things that you saw on your way? So this was quite puzzling to him. He would have said, I saw this, I saw that. He would have just listed. But he knew that this is not the answer which he is expecting. Okay? Therefore he was just keeping quiet. He once again asked, are you doing some yoga abhyasa and thereby you didn't see anything? Or were you coming, seeing all those things which were in front of your eyes? So this is something which was puzzling to this person. Why is he asking like this? So this is the kind of thought that goes on in the Shishya's mind. So he remains quiet, he doesn't answer. Then he asks, is it necessary that everything that comes to our sight should be seen by us? This is the next question that he poses. Okay? So anything that comes to the eyesight, is it necessary that you have to see? So then he was all the more puzzled. So then, after some dialogue, the Guru basically quotes this verse. So this verse which we are reading now, so which has this message. Okay? So we all know that it is not always necessary that we see things which are in front of our eyes. In fact, many a times we keep searching, those things are in our front. Okay, so this also happens. So I keep on searching, I don't get, but somebody else has to come and get it for me. So they will say, here it is. Okay, so this doesn't happen. Okay, that it is in front of me does not necessarily mean that it has to create a certain impression in my mind. So this is the message that is being conveyed in this verse. How should a mumukshu be? This mumukshutvam is a certain urge in this person to get completely freed from the entanglements of the samsara. So he is called mumukshu, moktu michu. How should a mumukshu try to practice so that he doesn't get bound by these things anymore? Okay, so that is the overall message. So in three quarters of the verse, there are four things which are conveyed. Okay, the first thing is Atmam bodhistarangosmyahamiti gamane. This basically considers the four states of us. One state could be, so we could be traveling from one place to the other. It can be in some motor vehicle, it can be walk, it can be flying, whatever it is. You are moving from one place to other. Okay. So gamanam. Gamanam, in fact, so for those who are a little more curious to know, so this is how they define gamana as. See, Purvadesha viyoga sahakrita uttaradesha sanyoganukulo vyaparaha. Okay, because there are Sanskrit lovers. So for every dhatu, so we try to explain it. Vyapara is a certain action. So gamanam is certain action. So what happens in this? Purvadesha viyoga sahakrita uttaradesha sanyoganukulo vyaparaha. Okay. So the sanyogaha is association. Association into a place which may be described as Y from a place which is described as X. Okay. So this you are to be separated from X and you have to go to Y. So if you do it in treadmill, so it is not gamanam. Okay. So you are on the same belt. Okay. Purvadesha viyoga sahakrita uttaradesha sanyoganukulo vyaparaha. This is how gamana is defined. Anyway, so now he is saying, when you are engaging in the activity of gamana, how can you have this atmanusandhana? Okay, so that is what is said. So during every activity, you should have this atmanusandhana. Then you are a mumukshu. So that is the overall message. So he says, while gamana, how do you visualize? Atmam bodhistarangosmyahamiti gamane. So then also you can have this notion that this Atman is one and I am not different from Atman. How? Because you see this place to be different, that place to be different, this floor to be different. So how do we understand that unity in that action? So there he gives this example, Atmam bodhistarangaha. So this Atman should be conceived as a big ocean. So in that, tarangaha. So tarangaha means a wave. Now this wave just jumps and then it remains for a short while and then it merges back into the ocean. So even as this wave was surfacing up towards the shore, okay, and rising high, it was not different from the ocean. So though this water contained in this wave may be the deep waters of the ocean, but it got pushed. Now it may once again go back into those deep waters. So this is how you have to visualize that I am a part of this. Okay, so I have taken this particular short form for a short while, but I am still not different from ocean. Okay, So this is how you can visualize that you are not different from Atman even as you are. That there is Atman is one. So this is how you have to visualize. Okay. Atmam bodhistarangosmyahamiti gamane. Okay. So this wave taking a particular shape for a certain period is like our Sharira taking a particular shape for us some time. Once again it merges back with that Virat Swarupa. Okay. So this is how we need to visualize. Atmam bodhistarangosmyahamiti gamane bhavayan. Bhavayan means this is the bhavana that you should have. Okay. Bhavayan. Then the second state is you are not in motion. You are stationed somewhere. Your x, y, z is fixed. T keeps anyway changing. X, y, z coordinates are fixed. So as we are fixed for some time during this lecture. At least me. Okay. Bhavayan asanasthaha samvit sutranuviddhaha manirahamiti. So samvit sutranuviddho manihi aham. So this is a interesting thing. So this Atman is described as Satchidananda. So now you conceive of the thread of knowledge. Okay. So in the thread of knowledge, so if you think of lot of gems tied in one thread, okay, the gems do not have motion. Okay. So similarly, I do not have motion. So in that context, you may visualize yourself as one of the gems in the string of knowledge. Okay. Samvit sutranuviddho manirahamiti. So this is asanasthaha. See, when you are seated in one place. Okay. Samvit sutran with anuviddhaha means tied. Okay. Anuviddhaha manirahamiti. Then the third thing. So this is what is happening most of the time. So indriyartha pratitau. So this indriyartha pratiti keeps happening. Okay. All the time. So indriya is your sense organ. Artha is the sense object. Okay. So when they get connected, so certain things fire up in our brain and we get a knowledge. Okay. Knowledge of something. Okay. So this pratiti means jnanam. So indriyena artha sanyoge ya pratitihi jayate. So whatever jnana that arises, indriyartha pratitau drishtosmyatmavalokat. This is a very interesting usage. Atmavalokat aham drishtaha. So alokaha means prakashaha. Okay. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. See, many of you would have heard this shloka in this Dakshinamurti Ashtaka. We have this fifth shloka, no? Some ghata. Nana chidra ghato darasthita mahadipa prabhabhasvaram jnanam yasyatu चक्षुरादिकरणद्वारा बहिस्पन्दते जानमीति. So this janamiti pratitihi, so that what arises, there is a beautiful simile there. He says, as you place a lamp inside a pot, so and it has several holes, so the light comes out through various holes. So too, this body should be considered as the case, and the Atman should be considered as the lamp inside. So tadvat, okay, so that is how. So nana chidra ghatodharasthita mahadipa prabha bhaswaram jnanam yasyatu chakshuradi karanadvara. There is a prakriya which is beautifully described in our Siddhantas. So how you derive knowledge. Chakshuradi karanadvara bahispandate janamiti tameva bhantam anubhati. You have to understand that it is this light which actually gives you this vision. Without this light, this vision is not possible. This jnana is not possible. Okay? So that is why tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Now, what he is trying to say here in this is drishtosmi. So it is a beautiful usage. So Acharya does not say drashtasmi. So when you say drashtasmi, then this kartrutvam will fall upon. So I am seen. So I am seen essentially means idam sarvam medayam atma. Okay? So that Ishavasya idam sarvam, that knowledge should be there. Once you see that, then whatever you see is none other than Brahman. Okay? So you see through the light of Brahman, and what you see is also Brahman. Okay? This is the beautiful idea that is being conveyed by the phrase Drishtosmi. Aham Drishtaha means this Aham Sarvatmatva Rupena. Okay? Not Sharira Parichinnattvena. Not as a Sharira. But as Sakshi. Okay? You understand? So this is how we need to understand this phrase. Drishtosmi. Kasam drishtaha? Atmavalokat drishtaha. Okay? Drishtosmatmavalokat. Iti shayana vidhau. Magna ananda sindhau. Then there is a fourth state into which we go on an everyday basis. The time may vary. Some people will sleep from 3 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So anyway, that is Sushuptyavastha. So then he says, Shayana vidhau magna ananda sindhau. So as you are in that state, so how do you understand that you are not different from the Atman? So there Acharya basically takes our own experiences as evidence and presents you how you have to visualize. Okay? Magna Ananda Sindhau. So the experience of everybody during this state is Sukhamaham Aswapsam. Okay? If you go to sleep state. Or you try to push yourself through that state by putting pills. But anyway, ultimately the experience has to be Sukhamaham Aswapsam if you had slept. Now this state is Anandanubhava. Okay? That Anandanubhava, so though not during that, but the moment you rise, so you are able to say that. Okay? So that requires this aham, okay, the antahkarana to wake up. So antahkarana, so which is essentially the instrument which enables us to see or which enables not to see, even as you see. Okay? So that antahkarana, that should arise. Only when that arises will you be able to experience. Okay? So that Sukhamaham Aswapsam comes soon after you arise. So now what Acharya says is Magnaha Ananda Sindhau. That Atman which is described as the ocean of Ananda. So you should think that during this state, so you were one with that Ananda. Okay? So thus, what is being said here is, in all the various different states, so there is Drishtosmi, you can even think of with your own Sharira, if you just take the Swapnavastha. So in the Swapna, I can think of talking to my great-grandfather. So who would have passed away some 50 years ago. So now, Drishtosmi. So I myself was seen. I mean, this is during that state I am saying. But here it is being spoken of with the understanding that this Atman, so which we say here, is the Atman for every other being. And therefore, whatever I see is none other than this Atman. Okay, so that is the understanding. So this various avasthas, so Jagrad Avastha. In Jagrad Avastha, either you can be in motion or you can be sitting somewhere. In Swapna Avastha, so you are basically at rest with reference to your physical body, but your mind can be moving anywhere. And in Sushupti Avastha, okay, so you are unmindful of your mind. Okay, so that three states, in all the three states, how can we think of? In fact, this first example that he gives, Atmam Bodhistarangaha, I am just reminded of one beautiful verse in Shatpadi. In Shatpadi Stotra, Satyapi Bhedapagame Nathatavaham Namamakeenastvam Samudrohi Tarangaha Kvachana Samudro Natarangaha. This is a beautiful sloka. So Ishvara, so you are described by certain qualities, Sarva Shakta, Sarva Vyapi, and so on and so forth. I understand myself to be, okay, so Kinchitnya, with all limitations and so on. Shastra tells that you have to cross over these limitations and you are one with that. Okay, you are not different from that. Satyapi Bheda Apagame. Bheda Apagame Satyapi. Truly speaking, though this Atman and that entity are not different. Okay. Natha Tavaham. Oh my Lord, I belong to you. You don't belong to me. So he gives an example. Samudrohi Tarangaha. The wave is to be considered as a part of Samudra, belonging to Samudra. And Samudra is not belonging to wave. Okay. Samudrohi Tarangaha. Kvachana Samudro Natarangaha. This is something in Bhakti. This is a beautiful description which Shankaracharya does. Anyway, I will not get into that. So let us read this verse and then move on to the next. So finally he says Antarnishthaha. So this Antarnishthaha means this is something which is important. So this is what I think that I guess it was Chandrasekhara Bharati to Abhinava Vidyatirtha, that conversation, if I remember right, or the other previous acharyas. So this Antarnishthatvam means, so even as you keep engaging with the world, so whether you are walking, so whether you are dreaming, whether you are seeing, so you can still be sort of introvert. So with this idea, okay, though you may deal with the external world, you need not necessarily engage with the external world. So that is the idea. Okay. Sakhalu Tanubhritam. Tanubhrit refers to those who possess body. Manushyanam. Madhye Yaha Evam Ayuhu Nayati. The one who leads the life, he is real mumukshu. This is what he stated. Read. Atmam bodhestarangosmyhamiti gamane bhavayan asanasthaha samvit sutranuvidho manirahamiti vasmindriyartha pratitau drishtosmyatma avalokat Iti Shayana Vidhau Magna Ananda Sindhau Antarnishtho Mumukshuhu Sakhala Tanubhritam Yonayatyeva Mayuhu. Next. Vairajavyashtirupam
Vairajavyashtirupam
Jagadakhilamidam Namarupatmakam Syat Antastha Pranamukhyat Prachalati cha punaha Vitti sarvan padarthan
सर्वान् पदार्थान् वेत्ति सर्वान् पदार्थान्
नायं कर्ता न भोक्ता
नायं कर्ता न भोक्ता नायं कर्ता न भोक्ता
सवितृवदितियो ज्ञानविज्ञानपूर्णः सवितृवदितियो ज्ञानविज्ञानपूर्णः सवितृवदितियो ज्ञानविज्ञानपूर्णः साक्षादित्थं विजानन्
साक्षादित्थं विजानन् साक्षादित्थं विजानन्
व्यवहरति परात्मानुसन्धानपूर्वम् व्यवहरति परात्मानुसन्धानपूर्वम् व्यवहरति परात्मानुसन्धानपूर्वम्. So here the Kriya Pada is Vyavaharati. Yaha Vyavaharati. So this is how, or you should just take Yaha Evam Saha Evam Vyavaharati. Okay, this is how you have to understand. So let me explain. Yaha Jnana Vijnana Purnaha. So this previous verse talked about Mumukshu. So either it can be the later advanced stage of Mumukshutva, or you have even crossed being Mumukshu and you have become a Jivan Mukta. So this is what is, the state is what is being described here. Yaha Nayam Karta Ayam Atma Na Karta Na Bhokta. There the example is Savitrivat. Okay. Savitrivat, Savita refers to sun. Sun basically shines. In fact, sun keeps shining all the time, whether it is your night or your day. So it is only we experience differently. Let us leave that now. Now, as the sun shines, the lotuses start blooming. The birds start coming out. And as it goes to set, the birds once again go back to. Okay, so various phenomena keep happening in the world. Okay, the solar panels will start absorbing energy, and then, so for the solar panels, so sun is neither karta. You see, so sun, so here sun does not do, it keeps shining all the time. Okay, so here Savitrivat. In fact, we have a beautiful drishtanta in Kathopanishad. Suryo yatha sarvalokasya chakshuhu. He keeps that mantra in mind, Acharya, and that is how he writes this. Suryo yatha sarvalokasya chakshuhu nalipyate chakshushairvahya doshaihi ekastatha sarvabhutantaratma nalipyate lokadukkhena bahyaha. So that is the mantra, so which you can refer to later. So here he basically tells you, as the Savita is not responsible for the action that is happening in something. Okay, so he is just shining as he is. So he is neither Karta nor Bhokta. Okay, so Savitrvaditi. So the one who has this kind of a knowledge put into practice. How do you know that he has put into practice? By the use of the word Jnana Vijnana Purnaha. In fact, Jnana Vijnana Purnaha, you will see a similar phrase used in Bhagavad Gita also. Idam tute guhyatamam pravakshyam yanasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajñātvā mokshyase shubhāt. So this is how Bhagavan starts the 9th chapter. Ashubhat mokshyase means you will be transcending from all ailments. Okay, Ashubhat mokshyase. So, knowing which, jnanam vijnana sahitam is what he says. So, jnanam vijnana sahitam, there Bhagavad Pada tries to make us appreciate the use of the phrase there. So, sometimes he uses the word jnana, sometimes he will use prajnana, sometimes he will use vijnana, sometimes he will say samyajnana. There are various things that Acharya will use. Okay, Upanishads will use. But when both of them are used together, so then how do we understand? So jnanam is pustakarudham jnana, as some of Pandits have, okay, as all of us have. So this jnana, so I know that I should not lose my temper, I should not shout. All that I know, but does it come to practice? So it doesn't, right? So that is what is vijnana. So this jnana that I have, when it comes to practice, it is called vijnana. So anubhavarudham jnanam vijnanam. So this is how Shankara Bhagavad Pada interprets there. So here, once again, we find this phrase, jnana vijnana purnam. For vijnana to happen, first of all, jnana has to be there. So the step that we are all engaged with is a very, very important step. So first you need to discover your ignorance. So then, so to some extent, that thing will get enlightened. And further with your own more experiences, contemplation, meditation and so on and so forth, it becomes far more evident. And finally it comes into play. So this is how. So you have to, anything that you do, this is how it happens, right? So jnanam vijnana sahitam. So that same phrase, jnana vijnana purnaha. So yaha jnana vijnana purnaha means the one who knows what Shastra says and one who has practiced enough so that, it comes into action for him, issues out into action. So that jnana issues out into action for this fellow, and therefore he considers himself as neither karta nor bhokta. And the simile is savitrivat. So this is what you have to understand first in this verse. Yaha jnana vijnana purnaha savitrivat nayam karta na bhokta iti janati. Okay? So in fact, vijanan is there in the fourth quarter. The one who understands like this, Vijanan, what does he do? See, this is how Vijanan basically goes to the other things. Because of this jnana, vijnana purna, so the other things he says, when you look at the world, so how do you view the world? Vairajo yashti rupam jagadakhilamidam nama rupatmakam syat. So in order to have this vision of unity and diversity, there are various pictures that we find in various Upanishads. And in fact, this Virat is a term which has been introduced in this Mandukyam, and it has been explained in various Prakaranas in various ways. So here he says, so if you want to visualize as a certain entity, then you visualize the entire universe as the Sharira of that Virat Purusha. Okay? Jagad Akhilam Idam. So conceive of this entire universe as the Sharira of the Virat Purusha. So Vairaja Vyashti Rupam. So here you have to understand this phrase as Vairaja Vyashti. Vairaja itself means Virat Sambandhi. Okay? So Vairajancha Tat Sharirancha. That is how you have to understand. So as the last class Anu was asking, Kathopanishad. So it is Katha. So Katha is the name of the Rishi, and Upanishad. See, Katha refers to belonging to them. See, in fact, I guess it should be Kathi. So Kathi Upanishad, Kathopanishad. Okay. So essentially this Abheda Sambandha. So that is how you need to understand. Technically it is called Abheda Sambandha, means both these terms refer to one and the same entities. Okay. Vairaju Yashti Rupam Jagadakhilamidam. Jagadakhilamidam, so which is essentially Nama and Rupa. How do you understand? So you have one bunch of clay and one bunch of clay has become some 20 parts now. So Nama and Rupa has come to that now. So it is essentially bunch of clay which has picked up Nama Rupa. Similarly, the entire universe is like that. Okay. So it was one entity beginning. So now it is, so as per our understanding, today it is just going away. It is exploding. Anyway, so this is how it is. Nama Rupa Atmakam Syat. You give various names to various clusters of planets, galaxies and so on. Nama Rupa Atmakam Syat. Antastha Prana Mukhyat Prachalati. So how do you understand this phrase? So Prachalati means it functions. Okay. Antastha Prana Mukhyat. Okay. So Prana Mukhya. So this Prana can be understood as normally this breath. Okay, that is how we generally understand. But Prana is used to refer to all Indriyas in several places. We find Prana basically refers to a bunch of Indriyas. So Mukhyat means the one who is most important. Okay. So Antasthaschasav Pranamukhyascha. Okay. Antastha Pranamukhyah Tasmat means he is the source. So how do we understand this? See, in fact, we have even in Kathopanishad, Indriyebhyah parahyartha arthebhyascha param manaha manasastu para buddhihi buddher atma mahan paraha. That mahatvam is what is captured here by the word mukhya. Okay, prana mukhya. Okay, antasthaha means, see, so antasthaha is how, here is where he is seen. Okay, so in Taittiriya, what do we have? Nihitang guhayam parame vyoman. Okay, so antastha prana mukhyat prachalati. Prachalati means cheshtate. Not only that, so veti punaha veti cha. It is essentially through this light that everything is being understood by us. Veti cha sarvan padarthan. Okay. So iti vijanan. This is how you have to understand. Okay. This Purusha so understands this particular way. So how does he understand? It is essentially the Sharira of the Virat Purusha, and it is only through this light that everything is being seen by me, and every activity is happening because of his presence in me. Sakshat Yitham Vijanan. So having clearly understood this is the way things are, Paratmanusandhana Purvam Vyavaharati. Understand? So Anusandhana Purvam means, so this is going at the back of his mind all the time. Okay? So Paratmanusandhana Purvam means preceded with. Okay? Blended with. So this is how you have to understand. So even as I see, so I can see. So this as essentially the manifestation of the same thing. So and thereby, so this vision, once it dawns in you, so whatever you see, okay, so will be only through that lens. So that is how we have to understand this. So it is basically the state of a Jivan Mukta. So how does he engage without seeing distinctions in the world? Okay. So the simplest example by which you can understand to forget all the difference is remember a thief. He goes to the jewelry shop. So he doesn't look whether it is a bangle or earring or a necklace. He just carries everything. He only sees gold. Right? So similarly, this Jivan Mukta, whatever he sees, so he only sees this Atman. Okay? But when he wants to refer to, so obviously even the thief, so go, he will see everything as gold. So when he comes to sell, so he will know. Okay? So this has this, that has that, etc. So this is how we have to understand. Okay. So Sakshat Itham Vijanan Vyavaharati Paratmanusandhana Purvam. So this Paratmanusandhana Purvam means, So along with that, okay, so tatpurvam vyavaharati. Okay, so even as he engages, he doesn't lose that vision but keeps engaging, and therefore the affection that flows out of him, okay, so does not make any distinction as to who the other person is, and it naturally flows out. So that is the whole idea. Read this. Vairājavyashtirūpam jagadakhilamidam namarūpātmakam syāt antastha prānamukhyaāt prachalati cha punarvetti sarvān padārthān nāyam kartā na bhokta savitrvaditiyo jnana vijnana purnaha sakshāditham vijananna vyavaharati parātmānusandhāna purvam. I think we'll stop here. Om सर्वे सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ओम